Welcome back to Off Guard. I'm your host, Austin Rivers, along with my co-host, Pausha. It's a beautiful day here in sunny Florida. Yeah, man. Obviously, we had our little emergency pod earlier in the week for those who are really in tune with the Mike Malone departure, as well as the front office. And last night, we even had some more drama. Is the NBA a reality show? We had the return of Luka to Dallas. He goes on to score 45. They win the game, obviously. You know, Anthony Davis is sitting there just like, golly, man. It's not like they're against me. They're just more mad that he's not here anymore. That's not a good feeling either, though. No one's mad at Anthony Davis. He didn't do the trade. No one's mad at Anthony Davis. He's a talented player. Dallas is mad they just don't have Luka anymore. And for someone like Anthony Davis, that's a weird feeling probably, just due to the fact that anywhere else, if he went, it would be like a celebration. Right. If Anthony Davis signed with the Magic, there'd be a parade. Yeah,
this wasn't Anthony Davis playing against his former team that he won a title with, right? This was Luka going. This is all about Luka.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Anthony Davis won a title with LeBron and them. It was all about Luka because that's who he got traded for. Bro got traded for arguably the best basketball player in basketball. Yeah. Other than Nikola, I would put Luka second. And I know Shai's MVP and all these things. I'd still take Luka if I got the best version of him. That's how talented of a basketball player he is. And I know that had to be uncomfortable for AD because he's out there trying to make the best of the situation. They're fighting and holding on, trying to, the play-in and everything.
Well, holding on, or the Suns are just literally handing them the last one.
Well, yeah. Well, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that in a minute. Because I watched that game last night, and I have a lot to say. Yeah, it's just weird to watch. I was watching this game, and I was just like, man, I wonder how Anthony Davis feels. Like, this would never happen in any other situation. Like, it'd be a win if you got Anthony Davis. This is such a rare thing. Like, it'd be like trading Luka or Nikola. Like, it just doesn't happen. Crazy. And to think.
What makes it worse is Luka getting emotional, right? Tearing up during all of that shows that he didn't want to leave, right? So then the fans see that everyone knows this guy didn't want to leave. He wanted to be here forever, which makes everyone even more mad at Nico Harrison. And I just don't understand how he can continue. How does a guy like that continue doing his job for next year? How could he even walk around the city he works in?
He shouldn't have a job.
People are just going to, people are just going to
have a job. He shouldn't have a job.
Did you see Mark Cuban last time when they were chanting "Fire Nico"? I mean, he was just like, what? In his mind, he's like, dude, what has happened to this franchise that I've been obsessed with for decades? We're at the point now where this is going on.
What was he doing?
He was shaking his head pissed, man. It's just an ugly situation, bro. I mean, I
don't know what he's pissed about.
They were in the finals less than a year ago. To go from that to this, what a quick downfall.
I don't understand why he's frustrated with that. Like, he did it one time. We told people to stop doing it. Yeah. Mark, first off, you sold your part of the team. And I love Mark Cuban, first off. We both do. We both have a...
But do you think that he sold it thinking that he would ever be... this would ever happen?
But still. It's like, Mark, what the fuck you think is going to happen, man? I know it's not acceptable, but it is acceptable. Your man threw away the organization. You threw away a generational talent. You don't just like draft Lucas. They don't come and go. They're very, very far in between when you get a talent like this. 5 first teams all around. Bro, I don't even need to go down his list of accomplishments in his short career already. You don't trade a Luka Doncic, man. Send about Anthony Davis. All right. Now, again, if this trade was 9 years ago, it wouldn't be as bad. It'd be like, okay, because Anthony Davis at one point was like a top 5 player in the NBA. So maybe you trade a third guy for a 5-guy position different. That wouldn't even have been a big deal because at that point, that's how good Anthony Davis was. Heading into his 14th year with an injury-riddled past for the best guard in the NBA, arguably, him or the guy who's competing with is going to win MVP. That's his competition. That's his company. What are we talking about? Fire Nico is justified. Now, I would never like to call for a man's job. He has put this team in a position that might take over a decade to recover. Seriously.
Yeah.
And then we haven't even mentioned, even the little departure of Grimes. Bro, Grimes is like a really talented player.
That's just like the icing on the cake, right? Like even that, then now people are looking around like
bro, what are we doing here? You just got rid of...
And he had such a good year last year. We gave him so much credit last year for doing the PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford
just hold
trades, yeah.
Sometimes you get high off your own supply and you start feeling yourself a little too much to the point where you just think you're a matchmaker. You could just make all these moves and everything's going to work. You made a couple good trades last year. Settle down, sit back, and let it unfold. You've done your part. You have talented players. You got Kyrie, you got Luka, just get out the way. In a West that's wide open anyway, why would you feel the need to make a trade like this of this magnitude?
That's a great point too. Besides OKC, I don't know what to think about the rest
No
of the
one
teams.
knows who's going to win.
If you told me, okay, OKC wasn't going to make the finals this year, right? Let's just say you already knew they weren't going to make the finals. I don't even know.
You don't have a second place.
You
So
don't
in
even
a
know.
year like this where you know it's wide open in your conference, why the fuck would you make this move?
Yeah.
I don't even want to spend more time on it because we've done it so many times and it's so obvious. There's a reason why the whole stadium was emotional watching Luka cry. Looking at Luka cry, it made everyone more pissed. Last night, those feelings got triggered again. Now, if he would have just came there, waved, said, his goodbyes, not little emotion, and played on with the game, people still would have been like, because he had 45, mind you, people still would have been like, Nico, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Good God. But seeing Luka cry and be emotional, Trae Young even tweeted and said, he would have never left. You idiots.
Yeah.
You idiots. And I'm not on this show to call people names. I don't like calling for people's jobs. The people responsible for this move, because I don't think it was Nico alone. It was clearly Nico and new ownership. You guys have made one of the worst trades and moves in the history of your of not only your franchise, but in recent memory of basketball.
Sports.
And this was a remarkable trade. And I say remarkable might not even be the right word because I can't even fathom making this move. I'm trying to think about myself having the position of running the Mavericks, picking up the phone. It's not like they even came to you with the trade. You were outsourcing to people trying to get rid of Luka. Was it personal? I don't know. Had to be. It doesn't make sense at any point in time. And then he's on the thing laughing like nothing we do is scary. And like, bro, you're a moron, man. This is the worst move I've seen in the past 40 years of basketball. And to watch this young man cry tells you not only was his heart in Dallas, but he was someone that was probably going to try to pull a Dirk and be here for another 10 to 15 years. If you don't think in that 10 to 15 years, if we haven't already learned in his short career already, he's gone to the conference finals, he's gone to the finals. You don't think he would have took y'all back at some point again? You don't think, remember, how long did Dirk play in Dallas?
I think it was 21 years.
How many titles they win?
One.
The other 20 years they lost. One title. And that's all it took. He has a statue outside. You couldn't have given Luka the same opportunity, Nico? You couldn't give him he just took you there, Nico. You couldn't give him the 20 years? He would have gave you that. That's why Trae Young tweeted that. This guy would have stayed there his whole career for you guys. Instead, he's crying on the bench as a Laker. He don't even want to be a fucking Laker. I'm not saying he's against it, but you don't want to be a Laker, man.
I mean, he'll learn to love it.
Of course he'll learn to love it, but that wasn't his plan.
Yeah.